Hi guys, so this is where you're going to turn on your subtitles for the video. And if you want to join my membership, you can get free access to all my PDFs. And I also like to show you just a few examples of what I sell in my merch shop. I appreciate your support, and back to the video. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So I'm sure you saw the thumbnail with this on an actual head, but I'm still in the process of making this one. I still gotta add the things on the bottom and some more curlicues and stuff like that. But this is a unicorn hat. So I was in the process of making this, and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna share this with everybody else. I was asked to make this for somebody to give away as a Christmas present, so I just thought I would make one with you so that we can all enjoy. So these are the two colors I'm going to use, this lighter purple and darker purple, and then I'm going to throw in some hot pink. This is a neon from Craft Smarts, from the neon collection. So I'm going to throw in that too. This is just going to be some of the curlicues, and then probably mixed in with some of the braided ties for the hat. This will be the main color of the hat, and this will be the trim color of the hat. So let's jump right into this. So all the yarn that I'm using is a 4-weight, just a regular 4-weight yarn. Craft Smart does have yarn a little bit more on the thicker side, but this hat is for a 21-inch head, and they're all the same patterns. It's just I built this one with a 4.5 millimeter hook for a 21-inch head. So most older children and adults have a 21-inch head. It's a common size. These are being made for children. This next hat I need to make for a 22-inch head, so I'm going to use my 5 millimeter. I just go up in hook size. If you need the hat to be smaller or even bigger than 22, which I find hard to believe, because I don't know anybody that has a size 22 and over head. My granddaughter has a size 22 head, and she's 11. But she does have a big melon on her. But most men and women are 21 to 22. Nobody's generally over that. But if you do need it to be smaller, then you need to just go down in hook size. So if you need it to be smaller than 21, so 18, 19 maybe for a 7 and an 8-year-old, go down to a 4 millimeter. So that's just the way we're going to work it, but the pattern's going to remain the same. So we're going to start with a magic ring of 10 double crochets. So this is an instant chain 1, how I do mine, but we're going to chain 2. And then we're going to put 10 double crochets inside this magic ring. The chain 2 does not count as a stitch throughout the project. That's my 10 doubles. So I'm going to pull my middle closed. I'm going to slip stitch. And I'm going to chain 2. So again, throughout the project, chain 2 does not count as a stitch. What does count as a stitch is the first stitch that we put in here counts as a stitch. So we put a double crochet into that chain 2 space, and that will count as a stitch. So put another one into that space, because you're going to do 2 single crochet or double crochets in each stitch all the way around. So that's stitch number 20, because all you're doing is doubling it. So go to the top of that first chain 2, slip stitch, and chain 2. So this is what we start with. Your next round is going to be one single. I'm going to say singles. If you hear me say single, I'm lying to you. It's double. Oh my gosh. I'm so used to dealing with single crochets. Okay, so your next round, it's going to be one double crochet and an increase. So in that chain 2 space, that's where you put your first double crochet, and that counts as a stitch. And then your next stitch gets the increase of 2 double crochets in the same space. So when you get back around, you should have 30 stitches. So once you come back around, you're going to slip stitch to the top of that first chain, and you're going to chain 2. So it's going to curl a little bit. That's okay. Your next round is going to be 2 double crochets and an increase, and this will bring it up to 40 stitches. And we increased by 10 because we started with 10 double crochets. So a double crochet into this chain 2 space, that counts as your first stitch. That's number 1. That's number 2, and then your increase of 2 double crochets in the same space. And repeat. So this is what you should have. You're going to slip stitch to the top of this first chain and chain 2. So you shouldn't be able to see this seam because we're putting an extra one into that chain 2 space, so you should never see a seam because of that. So your next round is going to be 3 double crochets and an increase, and this will bring it up to 50 stitches. That's 1 double crochet, which is shared with your chain 2 space. That's 3 double crochets, and then the next stitch gets the increase of 2 double crochets in the same space. Repeat all the way around. So I am back around, and I'm going to slip stitch to the top of this first chain and chain 2. So your next round is going to be 4 double crochets and an increase, and this will bring you up to 60 stitches. So your first one is in that chain 2 space. It's 1 double crochet. That's 4 double crochets, and then your increase of 2 double crochets in the same space. And repeat. So slip stitch to the top of this first chain, chain 2. So we got one more row. Let's take care of this thing at the back. It's a hat, so it kind of has to be just sewn in. So pull your slip knot tight, close that circle right up. So it should be nice and tight in here. So your final round is going to be 5 double crochets and an increase. So you see how we can't see the seam that we got going on? So put that double crochet in that chain 2 space. That counts as number 1. This is my 5 double crochets. And then my increase of 2 double crochets in the same space. And repeat. So this is what you should have. So if we lay it completely flat, I have just about a 9-inch, almost a 9-inch circumference. So 8 3/4 inch circumference to get a 22. So this is just for the top of the head. We're going to start building down the sides now. So for the next 5 rows, I just want you to put, oh, I didn't chain 2 here. For the next 5 rows, I just want you to put 1 single crochet in each of these 70 stitches. And always remember to share your chain 2 space with your very first double crochet that you're going to count as number 1. So that's my 5 rows, so this is what you should have. So I'm going to slip stitch to the top of that chain and I'm going to fasten off. So let's weave this in before we continue. Okay. So fold your hat in what you think is in half. This is our seam. This is where I fastened off. Still got a little bump. So you're gonna count this spot going one way but not the other way. So I'm gonna count my fasten off spot moving this way and I'm going to count 18 stitches. This is stitch marker will go on to the 18th stitch. That's my 18th stitch. I'm not going to count this fasten off spot this time around. 2, 4, 6. This is my 18th stitch. So once you have your 18th stitch, you can fold your hat in half. Just turn it facing me. Fold your hat in half till these two meet up. Now your seam should be on the one side, and my seam is on that side, all the way down. So I get a couple more markers. Make sure these two match up. Using the marker as a stitch count 6 to the one side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So basically the 5th stitch over 2, 4, 5. This counts as number 1. Once you remove this, you should have 11 stitches across. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. These are both being used as stitches. So you're going to do the same thing on this side. Seems like a lot of work, but I show all this so that you know how to do it yourself when you go to make your own hat. So you can just line it up or count 2, 4, 5, 2, 4, 5. And then take your middle out. This is where we're going to put the ear flaps. So we're going to reattach. So turn it back around, hold it like you would if you were crocheting. You're going to go into this first marker spot. And you're going to reattach with a single crochet. And then I want you to put a double crochet into that same space. So you're going to do 11 double crochets. So you're going to go across, and this is a stitch also. So that's number 1. That's my 11 stitches. I'm going to chain 2 and turn my work. And then I'm going to do 11 double crochet. Did I say stitches or single crochet? I'm going to do another 11 double crochets. Again, if I say singles, it's only by accident. This is my 11th stitch. This is my where I fasten. Chain 2, turn your work. So we're going to start decreasing. We're going to do a decrease with double crochets. So you're going to yarn over and you're going to go into the first stitch, which is attached to your chain. You're going to pull through 2, yarn over, go into the second stitch, pull through 2, then pull through 3. That's a decrease with a double crochet. Then you're going to do 7 double crochets across and then decrease the last 2. So I got 2 stitches left, and I yarn over, go into the first stitch, pull through 2. Yarn over, go into the last stitch, pull through 2, pull through 3. Chain 2, turn your work. So we continued our decreases. Yarn over, go into your first stitch, pull through 2, yarn over, second stitch, pull through 2, pull through 3. And now you're going to do 5 double crochets until you have 2 stitches left at the end, and you're going to decrease those 2. That's my 5 double crochets, and now I'm going to decrease these 2. Chain 2, turn your work. Decrease the first 2. You're going to do 3 double crochets and decrease the last 2. Chain 2, turn your work. Decrease the first 2. You're going to have 1 double crochet. Then you're going to decrease these last 2. Chain 2, turn your work. And now I want you to decrease and 1 double crochet, and fasten off. So we're going to weave this tail in, and then we're going to reattach on the other side. Actually weave this tail and weave this guy in too, and then you can take your markers out. So that's our first ear flap. We're going to repeat that same process. So tuck away your ends. So we're going to do the eyes. That way we know when we do the horn for the unicorn where we're putting the horn and then where we're putting the ears. So the eyes kind of have to come first. And I wasn't too concerned about the things on the end until, you know, that's kind of finishing off the project. So let's get these great big eyes done. These are the eyes that we're going to be doing. So I'm going to use a different color of blue. I'm going to use this color of blue. This is a Craft Smart. It's just a light blue color. And then just black and white for the rest of it. So let's get this out of the way. So I'm using a 4mm to do the eyes. So I've got just this this white. What a mess. I've got this, it's just a 4-weight white. This black is a little on the thicker side. It's a red heart, so it's a little thicker than normal, but that's okay. And then this blue, I'm going to use this blue. It's a different color of blue that I used for the other eyes. This is just a light blue color. The blue that I used here and then for here, um, is this. There's no, it's just a number, which, as you know, probably know, frustrates me. Where is it? This is the number, if that helps you at all. And it's that. Got this at Walmart. So that's what the other eyes and the curly Q are. But I'm just going to use light blue for this one. We're actually starting with black. So get your 4mm and all your colors. And with black, we're going to do a magic ring of 6 single crochets. So we'll just do these eyes in amigurumi because it really doesn't matter. We're going to just pop over here and start in our next stitch. We're going to do 2 single crochets in each stitch around. So put your stitch marker in there. Then you can put your second stitch in that same space. 2 single crochets in each stitch around will give you 12 stitches. So I'm going to do 1 single crochet and an increase, and then I'm going to change to blue. So that's my 1 single crochet. And then my increase is 2 single crochets in the same space, but on my second stitch, I'm going to finish with blue. Oh, and my blue's not going to pull out very well. So I'm going to finish that second stitch with my blue color. Now again, you can tie stuff at the back just to kind of keep it secure. We weave this stuff in, so I'm just going to do 1 knot just to keep it nice and tight so I can proceed to the next stitch. And I'm weaving in. So we're just going to continue with our 1 single crochet increase, but with the blue. So I still have my black with me. The blue kind of petered out over here. Just going to cut the fuzzies off. So we're on this last stitch, back out of this last stitch, we're going to finish it with the black. So with the black, we're going to start with 2 single crochets and an increase. I'm going to weave in my blue. So that's number 1. That's 2. And then your increase. So you're still in the black from the row before. On your last stitch, you're going to change to white. Now you're kind of weaving in your black, your blue, and your white tail. So with white, now that we are on white, we're not going to continue with our 2 single crochet increase. We're going to do something different with our white. So in this first stitch, I want you to do 1 single crochet. In the next stitch, I want you to do 2 half doubles. So you don't have to weave this in too far. On your next stitch, you're going to do 2 double crochets to start in that same space. And then again in that same space, I want you to add a half triple. So yarn over twice, go into the stitch, pull up a loop, pull through 2, and then pull through 3. That's a half triple. Your next stitch, I want you to start it with that same half triple, so yarn over twice, go into your stitch, pull through 2, pull through 3, and then put 2 double crochets in there. Same space. And then I want you to do your next stitch 2 half doubles. So now I want you to do 5 single crochets. I'm going to cut my white tail off because I don't need that. My black, we're going to be using our black later, but we don't need it to finish this eye. So now I'm going to do 5 single crochets. So now I'm going to do my next stitch 2 half doubles. Next stitch is going to get 2 doubles and a half double, or a half triple, sorry. So that's my 2 doubles. And then a half triple again. Yarn over twice. Pull through 2, pull through 3. Do it again. Pull through 2, pull through 3. And then put 2 doubles in that same space. Then I want you to do 2 half doubles and a single. So this is where we started over here with our white, and this is where we're ending with our white. So right here, I want you to fasten off. So weave this in. Doesn't really matter how you weave this in. And by what I mean by that is, if you have a little piece that's sticking up like this, it's not going to matter because we're going to be putting black over here and you're not even going to notice that. So that's what I meant by that. You take your stitch marker out. And then tuck away this magic ring. So the black that we do on top of the eye are different because these go on either side, left and right. So what we do on top has to be different. So go ahead and make your second eye. I'm going to put the pattern up on the screen and I'll meet you right back here to finish them off. Hi guys, so we're going to take our black and we're going to reattach. We're going to do one eye at a time because they're different. So this first eye, we're going to reattach. So find your two spots where you did 3 stitches in each. So the 2 doubles and a half triple. Find the middle and attach using that particular stitch. Attach with a single crochet. You're going to do 6 single crochets and an increase. That counts as number 1. So your 6th single crochet is right at the top where we fastened off. So ignore all this and pop down to the black to do your increase. And that's why I say you're never going to notice that spot where we fastened off because of that. So do that one more time. 6 single crochets and an increase. Now I want you to do 2 single crochets, chain 2, picot, which means you're going to come down and pick up these 2. It's black, I know it's so hard to see. You're going to come down and pick up these 2 pieces and do a slip stitch. That puts a nice little point on there, and then you're going to do 2 single crochets. So that's why I mean both eyes are going to be different because you got a left and a right. So you can fasten off. You will need a sewing tail, but I use both black and white to sew. I use black in the black and white in the white, so but you can do whatever you want. So that's eye number 1. Alright, eyeball number 2. We're going to reattach on the 5th double crochet. So we did a double crochet here, 2 double crochets. So 2, we did 2 double crochets here, that's 4. And then this double crochet way over here is number 5. So this stitch, this is our double and our 2 half triples. That's the stitch I want you to go into. So not this one that's in between the half double and the double. I want you to go in between the double and the half triple and reattach. I want you to do 2 single crochets, so that counts as number 1. That's number 2. Then we're going to do chain 2 and a picot. And then 2 single crochets. And then I want you to do 6 single crochet increase 2 times. So you should end on the stitch that's in between our 2 doubles and triples, 2 doubles and triples. You should end on the stitch before. So that way both of our picots are on the corner, and then up here we're going to do lashes off of that. So you can fasten off going into the next stitch. So right in our next stitch is in between where we started on here, is in between the sets of 3. Where we just finished is in our set of 3, and where we fasten off is in between our set of 3. Which will look like that's where our last stitch is. So it all should work out to be exactly even. That's going to be my sewing tail because I sewed with black and with white. And then this guy, I'm just going to weave him in. So find the front part of your hat. Pretty sure that's the front. So you just have to put them in a position where they don't look angry. But like I say, we're going to do eyelashes up over here. So you can go ahead and sew your stuff on. So this is my eyes sewn on. I'm going to add some eyelashes. So cut some black. So just over here on the side, let's do a slip knot on this end. So when we attach right on the end where your black goes. We're going to go back down right next door because we just want to reattach. So go through that loop. So, we're going to come back up. And then we make our eyelashes. So it goes about as far as you want to go. And just pop up right next door. So I'm going to get a little longer. So I'm going to grab this piece up here. I'm not going through the hat, I'm going through the yarn. Make sure I'm filming. So it's a little longer. You can go a little longer again. You can do as many as you want. I only did 3. So that's my 3. I don't really want to pull these tight. So I'm going to scooch. So I'm weaving all the way back down over here. I'm going to go back down, basically where I came up. I'm going to tie a super duper tight double knot, but I'm not going to pull, so those are still kind of loose. And then weave. Same thing for the other side. So that's my eyelashes. So next we will do the horn. So I did mine in white. So as far as the horn goes, I used a 4.5 for that. So let's just zoom in a little bit here. And I did my horn in white, like I already said. So we're going to do a magic ring of 6 single crochets. We're building this in amigurumi, so you're going to need a stitch marker. So your first round, just to kind of keep it pointy, we're going to do 1 single crochet at an increase. Put that out of the way. So that's 1 single crochet. And then your increase of 2 single crochets in the same space. So it'll give you 9 stitches. We're going to increase by 3. But this next round is just going to be 1 single crochet in each of these 9 stitches. And somehow I picked up my purple. So you can flip this around. So your next round is going to be 2 single crochets and an increase, and this will bring it up to 12 stitches. Because like I said, we're only increasing by 3. That's number 1 with your marker. That's number 2, and then your increase of 2 single crochets in the same space. All the way around. Next round is going to be 3 single crochets and an increase, and this will bring it up to 15 stitches. So we have 1 more increase, and then we're just going to be going straight rows. So 4 single crochet increase. This will bring it up to 18 stitches, and that's as high as we're going. So for the next 8 rows, you're going to put 1 single crochet in each of these 18 stitches, and if you feel that you want it longer, just keep going. You don't have to do as short as me, it's just I figured it was a hat, and if it was any longer than this, it might not stand up on its own. So 8 rows, 18 stitches, and I will see you on the other side. So this is my 8 rows. So I'm just going to go into my next stitch and fasten off the sewing tail. So I obviously stuffed mine. I didn't put a whole lot in for weight because I was afraid of the weight pulling it down. So I didn't put very much in there. And then you just need to decide where it's gonna go and sew it on. So this magic ring obviously sits at the top of your head. So you want it fairly close to the top of your head, I would think, because it's the only way it's going to kind of stand up on its own. So I just did a wee little knot, and now I'm just weaving up the horn itself. There we have it. So let's move on to ears. So the ears are built in 2 different pieces. So white, and then I used pink for the inside part of the ears. So starting with our white, it doesn't matter what size of hook you use actually. I'm going to use my 4.5. It doesn't really matter though. Whatever hook your yarn calls for, I guess would be okay. It all depends on the size of ears you want really. So let's start with the pink part is built flat and then just kind of sewn in, and this part is built in amigurumi. So magic ring of 6 single crochets to start. So we want it pointy on top, so your first round is just going to be 1 single crochet in each stitch. So you can flip this around, make sure your middle's pulled closed, and your next round is going to be 1 single crochet and an increase. That's 1 single crochet, and then your increase of 2 single crochets in the same space. Your next round is going to be 2 single crochets and an increase. That's 2 single crochets, and then your increase is 2 single crochets in the same space. So this will bring it up to 12 stitches. Your next round is going to be 3 single crochets and an increase, and this will bring it up to 15 stitches. So number 1, 3 single crochets, and then your increase. Your last increase row is going to be 4 single crochets and an increase. That's about as big as we're going. So for the next 6 rows, you're just going to put 1 single crochet in each of these 18 stitches. So that's my 6 rows. Get my purple out of here again. So you can fasten off. You need we're going to whip stitch this closed, and you need a sewing tail. This does not get any stuffing. So, now for the pink part. This pink part is built flat, and then it's sewn just to the inside. So you can make a slip knot and chain 6, and then do 5 single crochets back up. Chain 1, turn your work. So for the next 2 rows, I just want you to put 1 single crochet in each of these 5 stitches. So now we're going to decrease. You're going to see it written as SE2 tog. That's just a decrease. One single crochet, and then you're going to decrease these last 2 stitches. Chain 1, turn your work. So now you just have 3 stitches. For the next 2 rows, I just want you to put 1 single crochet in each of these 3 stitches. And now I want to decrease these first 2 and do 1 single crochet, chain 1, turn your work, and do a decrease to finish the top off. and you can fasten off. With a sewing tail, because you're going to have to sew it to your white. So it's just a little triangle. So tuck this guy away. Well, if you don't want to weave him, you can always just pull him through like that. Cut him off later. Oh, I guess you couldn't see me. Not quite on camera. So I just pulled it through. In case you didn't see me. And then this, you just sew. So, that's your ear. So go ahead and make your second ear and your thing, sew it all together, and then I'll meet you back here to sew it to the head. That's not an easy thing to do either. Sewing stuff like this to hats is not easy for me. I'm not a good sewer, but I'll meet you right back here. Okie dokie. This, they really need to be way over here for you to sew them on. I put mine over here. So, I don't know. Maybe like the third, starting at the third row. But just make sure they're in line with your magic ring, because they need to kind of sit at the top of the hat. So, not the easiest things to sew on. They're really, 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 really not. So now that we've got our ears on and everything else, I just remembered that I have not done the trim around the bottom of the hat yet. So let's take our darker purple color. Well, I'm going to take my darker purple color, and I'm going to reattach to do the trim all along the bottom. So this hat is built in double crochets, but my trim is going to be half double crochets. So just attach anywhere. I think I'm just going to attach down here at the bottom. So attach with a single crochet. We'll put a half double in that same space. And I'm going to, this is the raw side here, so I'm going to try to remember what count I did for my stitches so that I can match them on the other side and match them over here. So just remember, however, doesn't matter where you stick your hook, just wherever you can get in. There's no stitches, so just wherever you're shoving stitches in, just remember what your count is. So working in half doubles. So I'm all the way back around. I am going to slip stitch into the first stitch I did. Fasten off. I'm just going to tie these once. I'm going to tie them in a knot. So when I do the ties, for this, I'm going to do 3 colors. I'm going to do this purple, I'm going to do this dark purple, and I'm going to do this hot pink. Because some of my curlicues I'm going to use the hot pink for. So neon, I keep saying hot pink, it's neon, it's Craftsmart Neon Collection. So let's set this aside. So each piece I did was 50 inches long. And because we're using 3 colors, we need 9 pieces. So 50 inches long, because we have to fold it in half. So I don't measure every single piece. I measure one. I measure one piece and that's it. So it's not precise. That's probably longer than 50. So I measure one piece. So we need 9 altogether, each side. So 3 each color. All the same size. Actually 6 if we're going to do 2 sides. I'm just saying each side. So I'm going to cut 6 of these because I'm going to split them in half so that I cut all for both sides all at the same time. Or my 6, 3 each side. I'm going to split these already. So I'm going to take 3 from my other side and set them over here. Let's move everything. And now I'm going to do 6 of the dark purple. So that's my 6 dark purple. I'm going to separate my 3 for the other side. Put it with my other pieces. Move that out of the way. Get my hot pink, my neon pink. Find the beginning is going on here? I've got this for my one side. So it needs to be folded in half like that. And then this is for my other side. It needs to be folded in half as well. So get your hat, flip your little dealie up here, fold your thing in half, figure out a way to pull it through. And then pull it through that loop and then tighten it. So on the outside of the hat it looks like that. And then we separate these. So we did 3 each. Like, I wanted this to be fairly thick. 3. So 2 of each color in one strand. Two of each color in each strand across, just so you have a good mixture of colors. And then you braid. That way you kind of get all the mixture of colors in there. Because like I said, some of the curlicues that I'm doing are going to be this hot pink. So just do a light braid. Now you can pull this out. Like, you know how you do braids in your own hair and then you kind of puff them up a little bit? You can do the same with these. But just keep in mind the ties need to be long enough to tie. So, when you get down to the end, we're going to make a knot. So, braid as far down as you can, because we can pull this knot down as far as we can go. Make it nice and tight, and then you can trim all this off. A little bit, you don't need to trim it all off. And then if you wanted to loosen this, make these bigger, you know, you can pull it out like you do your hair when you braid it to make it look puffier or more like a fishtail or whatever you want to do. So that's what we're going to do for the ties, and they're super duper long enough that you can actually tie the hat. Some of these ones you buy in stores are so short you can't even tie them. And then we just do the other side. There we go. So now those are done. The only thing that we have left is all of our little hair, our mane. The mane for the unicorn. So we'll do that next. So I've got one of my curlicues is sewn on. I sew them all just to the magic ring, and it's super duper long. So it hangs way down to here, and that is a chain 82. I'm only doing one super duper long one, and then the other ones are just, you know, probably down to here. So just one super duper long one, which is why I did it in the neon pink. I thought it was neat to stand out. Just sewed it to my magic ring. This is a chain 82 with 2 half double crochets in each stitch all the way back down. The one I'm working on now, and you can make these any size you want. You don't need to make them the size I'm telling you. I'm doing a little short one right now. It's a chain 50, which seems like it's long, but you gotta understand it curls so as you go. And I'm doing 2 double crochets in each stitch all the way back up. So it's gonna kind of be fatter and shorter type thing. So, but that's how you make a curlicue, is just put 2 of whatever stitch you choose to use, double, half double, single. Put 2 in each stitch all the way back up, and it will do this curlicue thing. So that's the last bit of our project. The other size I did was a chain 70, and I did a 1 double crochet increase back up. So I guess it's not necessarily always two in each stitch. You can do, and that kind of stretches it out a little bit. But that is how you do the curlicues anyway. So work on some of those. So the short ones I'm going to have just kind of hang in the front, and then do some long ones for the back for the main part. Mane as in hair. And I'll meet you on the other side of the pause screen. So I just wanted to pop on and show you, if you've decided that you've made too long of a chain and you're kind of done, skip a couple of chains and then just cut it. Pull this piece out and then just tighten that into a slip knot. And then you're good. But just skip a couple of stitches before you cut. So I've just decided I wanted mine to be a little bit shorter. So when I'm at the end of my curlicue, I tie my slip knot, straggler, and my starting piece together before I sew it to my head. And then I want this curlicue to be at the front. Of course, it doesn't matter where I sew it on. I can sew it on anywhere. I just pick up a couple of pieces in my magic ring to start. I go through my pink. And then I do the same thing again. I'm gonna pick up the 2 pieces. Let's get on the right side. I'm going to go through my pink again into the purple, and that's where I'm going to make my knot. And then you can just weave on this side. So you don't need much, it's just a couple of stitches. Anyway, just wanted to show you how to cut it off if you feel that it's going to be way too long. So anyway, continue with your stuff. I'm doing some of this dark purple in with my pink, but I'm not doing any of this. So I'm just doing the dark purple and the neon pink. So I'll meet you right back here. So I got all my curlicues done, all the ones that I'm doing anyway. So, that is it. That is the hat. So thank you so much for joining me, guys. I'll see you in the next video.